One man forged the finest tools in the region. The other man forged nothing. Years later, the second man was richer. He owned the bridge. Every wagon traveling toward the city crossed it. Grain, timber, medicine, cloth, iron, and every tool produced by the first man moved across the same narrow span. The craftsman had spent 20 years mastering steel. Builders trusted his hammers. Farmers trusted his plows. Soldiers asked for his blades by name. He believed excellence would eventually make him powerful. So when profit began to shrink, he did what skilled people are taught to do. He woke earlier. He reduced waste. He improved the product. He lowered his prices. He surrendered more sleep. The bridge owner could not shape iron. He owned no workshop, field, or warehouse, but he stood where usefulness had to move before it could become money. He collected a fee from every wagon. He saw shortages before the city did, learned which merchants were desperate, and knew which cargo could not afford delay. While the craftsman studied the product, the bridge owner studied the movements surrounding it. Then one winter, he raised the toll. There was no other crossing. The craftsman protested. His tools were valuable. His customers still wanted them. None of that changed the structure. The tools still had to cross the bridge, so he returned to his workshop and worked harder to pay the man who controlled the road. The craftsman understood steel. The bridge owner understood movement. One created value, the other controlled access to value. And when money moved, it followed the gate. Hard work creates value, but hard work without access can build wealth inside someone else's system. Money does not automatically move toward the person who worked hardest. It moves through systems, and every system contains passages that can be opened, redirected, restricted, or closed. A salary has a gate, a customer has a gate, an audience, payment, shipment, recommendation, and opportunity all have gates. Most people improve what sits behind the gate. Few study who owns the road in front of it. Before this video ends, you will identify the gate controlling the greatest part of your economic life. Locate the single point of failure that could interrupt your income and begin building something most people search for only after the road has closed. A second door, not manipulation, not artificial scarcity, not control over other people. A legitimate passage through which real value can continue to move, because the deepest lesson is not that you must seize every bridge, it is that you must stop building your future behind only one. Every coin follows a path. Before a customer pays, the customer must know an offer exists. The offer must reach the right person. The person must understand the problem, believe the promise, complete payment, and receive a result worth keeping. Remove one passage and the money stops. A brilliant product hidden from the market creates no revenue. A visible product without trust creates attention but little action. A trusted product without reliable delivery creates disappointment. A useful service without payment access creates gratitude but not a business. This is the difference between value creation and value capture. Value creation asks, what useful thing can I produce? Value capture asks, what position allows me to participate when that usefulness is exchanged? Imagine three people beside a river. The first carries water in buckets. The second owns a cart. The third maintains the bridge every cart must cross. The first earns from labor, the second earns from leverage, the third participates in the structure of movement. Most people are trained to become better bucket carriers, work harder, become faster, carry more, become indispensable. Your salary may rise, your title may improve, your calendar may become full enough to resemble success, yet the customer, contract, distribution, and even the proof of your value may remain inside systems you do not own. Then one agreement disappears, and much of what appeared to be yours remains behind the gate. This is why high income can exist beside weak economic power. Income measures what entered your hands under current conditions. Economic power measures what remains functional when one permission disappears. Imagine a skilled designer named Daniel. He earns well inside a respected company, but his strongest work is confidential. His network is mostly internal, and his lifestyle requires the next salary to arrive on time. Daniel looks successful, but if the institution disappeared tonight, what would still work tomorrow? Could another customer inspect his proof? Could people reach him directly? Could he survive long enough to reject destructive terms? His skill belongs to him, but much of the road surrounding that skill does not. The inexperienced study the coin, operators study the transaction, strategists study the road the transaction must cross. There are 6 gates: customers, attention and distribution, supply and infrastructure, information, trust, capital. The first 3 determine whether value can move. The final 3 determine who sees earlier, who is believed faster, and who can wait long enough to influence the terms. The final gate is the most dangerous because it decides whether pressure can force you to sell your future before you are ready. Keep 3 questions beside you. Where is my dependence? Who can close the gate? What second door can I begin building? The most valuable economic asset is often not the product. It is the trusted path to the person willing to buy it. Products can be copied, prices can be matched, features can be improved, but a direct relationship with people who deliberately return is difficult to replace. Dollar Shave Club entered a market dominated by giant brands, retail shelves, and expensive advertising. It did not begin by claiming to have invented the most advanced razor in history. It shortened the road. A memorable message reached customers directly. A subscription simplified repurchasing. Each transaction created an ongoing relationship instead of ending at a supermarket shelf. The deeper asset was the road surrounding them: recognition, recurring access, customer knowledge, and a reason to return. Now imagine 2 companies selling almost identical products. The first receives nearly every order from one marketplace. The platform supplies traffic, search, ratings, payment, and credibility. Sales rise, and the owner begins to believe he owns the growth. But the marketplace owns discovery. It can change rankings, increase fees, place a competitor beside him, restrict communication, or suspend the account. The business owns inventory. The platform owns access. The second company uses the same marketplace, but treats it as one road, not the entire kingdom. It builds a direct website, earns permission to contact customers, studies why people return, and gives them a reason to remember the company by name. When rankings change, the first business discovers that its sales were real, but its access was rented. The second is injured, but not erased. It still has names, trust, feedback, repeat buyers, and another path to demand. The same law applies to employees and creators. Remove the institution's brand or the platform's distribution. Who still calls? What evidence travels? Can the audience deliberately find you again? Rented visibility is not owned demand. To strengthen the customer gate, understand one expensive problem. Create visible proof that you can solve it. Give people a direct way to remember and reach you. Protect the relationship after the transaction. The strongest customer gate is protected by the customer's desire to return. Before we open the next gate, turn the question toward your own life. Write who ultimately pays for your value and who currently stands between you. If that intermediary disappeared tomorrow, would the people who value your work know how to find you? Before money reaches a market, attention usually arrives first. A customer cannot choose what they never see. An employer cannot hire work that remains invisible. An investor cannot fund an opportunity that never enters the room. Attention is not money, but it is often the first passage money must cross. Imagine a market containing 10,000 products. The customer sees 10. Someone selected the 10. A search system ranked them. A retailer approved the shelf. An advertisement purchased the position. A trusted person made a recommendation. The gatekeeper did not create the customer's money. He influenced where the customer looked before spending it. But attention and distribution are not the same. Attention creates awareness. Distribution creates reliable movement from awareness toward action. A viral video may receive millions of views and leave no durable passage behind it. A smaller newsletter may reach fewer people, yet those readers return for a specific kind of judgment and act when a relevant offer appears. The first has reach, the second has a road. Creators often confuse audience size with economic position. They chase views from people who share no common problem or reason to act. The number grows while the gate remains weak. The decisive question is not only how many people are watching, it is why they are watching and what they trust you to help them do. Attention becomes useful when it shortens the distance between a specific problem and a credible solution. A consultant becomes known for repairing sales systems. A designer becomes known for making complicated products understandable. A creator becomes known for turning difficult ideas into usable decisions. This is remembered usefulness, not fame. A creator who depends entirely on one platform may eventually serve the platform instead of the audience. Visibility rises while trust weakens. A strong position attracts the right attention, communicates real value, and moves the relationship into a passage that can survive outside the original platform. Use the platform, learn from it, profit from it, but do not build your entire house in the middle of a road owned by someone else. Now, test whether your attention has a destination. Complete one sentence. People should remember my name when they need help with. If the answer is vague, your attention is not yet organized around an economic problem, but even remembered usefulness cannot move through a broken system. Visibility is useless when the road beneath it fails. During ordinary times, infrastructure disappears into the background. The server responds, the supplier delivers, the payment clears, the package arrives. Then one narrow passage fails. In March 2021, the Ever Given became grounded in the Suez Canal. Cargo still existed, demand still existed, factories and customers still wanted the goods, but the road had failed. Value can exist on both sides of a transaction and still produce nothing when the passage between them breaks. Infrastructure is controlled access made repeatable. It turns a possible transaction into a dependable one. A company can possess demand and still fail because it cannot deliver. A creator can possess attention and still fail because no reliable system converts interest into value. A professional can possess expertise and remain weak because every result depends on one tool, approval, or person. Power accumulates around reliability. People do not always pay most for the object. They often pay for the continuity surrounding it. Imagine a coastal merchant who accepts smaller summer profits to reserve cargo space and store salt before winter. Others see idle inventory. He sees a road that may close. Then storms hold ships beyond the harbor, and the market empties. When he opens the warehouse, people believe they are buying salt. In reality, they are buying continuity, time, and stability. While the normal road has failed, he did not create the storm or destroy another merchant's supply. He protected a necessary passage before urgency appeared. Preparing for disruption creates value. Creating disruption so others become helpless manufactures dependence. Modern systems often remove every reserve because unused capacity looks wasteful. One supplier is cheaper. One platform grows faster. One employee knows the process. One payment method seems sufficient. The system becomes efficient and fragile. Efficiency maximizes performance under expected conditions. Resilience protects movement when conditions change. The vulnerability exists before the disruption. The disruption merely reveals it. One employer, one client, one supplier, one platform, one payment method, one person holding knowledge no one else possesses. You may not remove the dependency immediately, but you can begin another route, a second supplier, another client category, a documented process, a reserve, a portable capability, or a second payment path. Do not search only for something new to sell. Search for a passage people cannot afford to leave unreliable. Then become the person or system that keeps movement alive. Before we leave infrastructure, name one input, platform, process, or person whose disappearance would stop your income. Beside it, write the first backup you could begin within 7 days. Return to the craftsman. For years, the bridge fee had been inconvenient but survivable. Then the bridge owner raised it. The craftsman protested. His margins were already thin. His tools were excellent. His customers still wanted them. His workers depended on him. None of that changed the structure. The tools still had to cross the bridge. The craftsman had confused strong demand with strong position. He had customers, but no direct road to them. He had skill, but no reserve. He had a reputation inside one market, but no proof that could travel beyond it. This is the moment most people begin studying access. after the gatekeeper changes the terms. But the first 3 gates only explain whether value can move. The next 3 explain who sees the change early, who is trusted when uncertainty rises, and who can wait without surrendering. Information, trust, capital. These gates are quieter. Under pressure, they decide everything. The person who sees earlier can act earlier, but information becomes power only when it reduces uncertainty and changes action. A merchant who learns that a bridge has collapsed upstream sees different value in a warehouse of grain. The grain has not changed. The information has changed its economic meaning. Now imagine a junior employee inside a large company. Managers say customers are leaving because of price, but the employee reads complaints, listens to support calls, and watches where users hesitate. He discovers that one confusing step makes the product feel risky. He documents the pattern, simplifies the process, and cancellations fall. His value did not come from possessing a secret. It came from standing close enough to the transaction to see what everyone else had normalized. This is why controlled access compounds. Movement produces information. Information improves decisions. Better decisions attract more movement. More movement produces more information. But most people consume information without gaining informational power. They know headlines and collect opinions, yet none of it changes a decision, reduces risk, or moves them closer to the customer. They possess noise, not intelligence. Economic intelligence begins with a decision. What uncertainty am I trying to reduce? What action changes when the answer becomes clear? What does behavior reveal that words conceal? The strongest information is often not secret. It is neglected. Complaints, delays, abandoned purchases, repeated questions, manual work everyone tolerates, moments when customers become anxious. These are signals that a passage is failing, and a failing passage may become an economic opportunity. One employee completes the task. Another understands how money enters, why customers buy, where margin disappears, and which delay creates losses. One performs inside the gate. The other may learn to redesign it. But access to information creates responsibility. Confidentiality is an economic asset. A person trusted with sensitive knowledge becomes a safe passage through which important opportunities can move. Do not exchange years of trust for minutes of attention. Turn information into an economic question. Write one complaint, delay, question, or manual task you have seen at least 3 times. Then ask, what uncertainty does it create? And who would pay to remove it? Seeing earlier creates advantage, but seeing earlier means nothing if no one trusts you, and trust means nothing if the clock can force you to surrender. Every transaction contains uncertainty. Will the work be completed? Will payment arrive? Will private information remain private? Will the promise survive inconvenience? The greater the uncertainty, the more protection the transaction requires. Contracts grow longer, supervision increases, deposits rise, decisions slow. When trust becomes strong, friction falls. People decide faster, share better information, introduce valuable relationships, and require less protection because previous behavior has already supplied evidence. Trust becomes a bridge, Money is willing to cross. In 1982, 7 people in the Chicago area died after taking cyanide-laced Tylenol capsules. Suddenly, a sealed bottle no longer meant safety. The product, distribution, and demand still existed, but the passage of trust had been attacked. Johnson & Johnson recalled tens of millions of bottles, and the crisis accelerated tamper-evident packaging in the United States. Restoring the market required visible action strong enough to reduce fear. That is the economic function of trust. It lowers the cost of uncertainty. Now imagine 2 professionals with similar technical ability. The first is brilliant but unpredictable. Deadlines are treated as suggestions. Private information becomes public conversation. Promises change when inconvenience appears. The second communicates before delay becomes surprise. He protects information that does not belong to him. He admits mistakes while repair remains possible. He keeps his word under pressure. The second person does not merely provide labor, he reduces the cost of fear. Visibility creates awareness. Trust creates action. Trust is accumulated evidence. A promise kept when breaking it would have been convenient. A private conversation protected. A mistake admitted before it became a crisis. A small obligation completed with seriousness. Eventually, the pattern travels ahead of you. Someone mentions your name inside a room you have never entered. A customer refers another customer. A partner offers better terms because less protection is required. At that moment, reputation has become controlled access. But trust grows slowly and can be spent quickly. People do not trust your description of yourself. They trust the pattern they repeatedly observe. A reputation becomes economically powerful when it removes a particular fear from the transaction. Now complete 2 sentences. When people choose me, they should feel less uncertain about the behavior that could destroy that trust is protect the first sentence by refusing the second. Friday afternoon, 2 business owners receive the same low offer. Both companies are valuable. Both are suffering through a temporary crisis. Both could recover within 6 months. The first owner knows the offer is bad, but payroll is approaching, creditors are waiting, and personal obligations already own next month's income. He is not negotiating only with the buyer. He is negotiating with the clock. The second owner has liquidity. He can continue operating, study alternatives, reject the offer, and wait. Their businesses may possess equal long-term value. They do not possess equal access to time. Capital controls timing, and timing changes power. In September 2008, during the financial crisis, Berkshire Hathaway agreed to invest $5 billion in Goldman Sachs through preferred shares, paying a 10% annual dividend, together with related warrants. The lesson is not that ordinary investors can demand Warren Buffett's terms. The lesson is why such terms became available. When markets are calm, money competes for opportunities. When markets are afraid, opportunities compete for patient money. Capital did not merely purchase an asset, it purchased negotiating position. Saved money is stored patience, time in which value does not need to be sold beneath pressure. Now return to Daniel. the same designer whose skill belonged to him, while the road surrounding it did not. He earns well, but after every raise, he expands his obligations. Then his company restructures. The first outside offer is weak, but the bills are not interested in its quality. His obligations enter the negotiation before he speaks. Now imagine that Daniel had preserved margin, built portable proof, maintained relationships beyond the company, and saved several months of essential expenses. He would still feel fear, but fear would no longer be the only voice in the room. He would possess time, evidence, relationships, and another possibility. He would possess a second door. The skill would still be his, but now, part of the road would be his as well. Leverage is not aggression. It is the ability to remain intact when an agreement disappears. Money entering your account is income. Money that increases your ability to choose becomes freedom capital. Every purchase carries two prices. The visible price appears on the receipt. The hidden price is measured in future options removed. A payment may be affordable today, while making a future refusal impossible. The weak question is, can I afford the monthly payment? The strategic question is, what might this payment force me to tolerate later? Leisure is not the enemy. Consumption becomes dangerous when it purchases an image. By selling future choice, a person can earn more each year while becoming less free because obligations grow faster than alternatives. Margin changes speech before it changes lifestyle. A person with margin asks, "Is this agreement good?" A person without margin asks, "How quickly can I sign?" Margin may be cash, time, capacity, knowledge, relationships, reputation, credit, or optionality. Efficiency without margin creates fragility. Build financial power in 3 layers. First, survival. Know the true minimum required to keep essential life functioning for 1 month. Second, reserve. Create distance between an ordinary interruption and immediate panic. Third, freedom capital. Reduce expensive debt or build a portable capability, productive tool, direct customer channel, second income source, or stronger network. Survival keeps the structure standing. Reserve slows panic. Freedom capital builds the second door. Power is measured not only by what you can acquire, but by what you can refuse without collapsing. Before we move from power to ethics, calculate the minimum cost of 1 essential month. Then, identify the recurring obligation that most reduces your ability to wait. That number is the current price of your negotiating freedom. Controlled access is powerful. For that reason, it must be understood ethically. There is a difference between protecting value and manufacturing dependence. A healthy gate organizes value. A parasitic gate blocks reasonable alternatives. A healthy gate reduces uncertainty. A parasitic gate manufactures confusion. A healthy gate protects quality, continuity, trust, and safety. A parasitic gate creates friction and then charges people to escape it. It hides information, creates false scarcity, punishes alternatives, and keeps customers weak because weakness appears profitable. That form of power is temporary. Sooner or later, someone builds a cleaner road, a transparent market, a direct channel, a simpler system, or a technology that removes the unnecessary intermediary. Then the old gatekeeper discovers that he never controlled value. He controlled inconvenience. Durable gates survive because they provide something the market would miss if they disappeared: trust, speed, judgment, safety, standards, continuity, coordination. The objective is not to make everyone ask permission. It is to create a passage people willingly choose because crossing it is safer, faster, clearer, or more valuable. Real economic power creates alternatives for you and better movement for the people you serve. Now turn the architecture toward your own life. Take one sheet of paper and write 6 headings: customers, attention, infrastructure, information, trust, capital. Under customers, write who ultimately pays for your value and who currently stands between you. Under attention, write how your value becomes visible and who can interrupt that path. Under infrastructure, write the supplier, process, platform, payment method, or person whose disappearance would stop movement. Under information, write the repeated complaint, delay, or uncertainty others have learned to ignore. Under trust, write the result your reputation should promise and the behavior capable of destroying it. Under capital, write how long you could continue making clear decisions if current income stopped. Now circle the gate with the greatest power to interrupt your future. Not the most embarrassing weakness, not the easiest problem, the most concentrated dependency. One employer, one customer, one platform, one supplier, one traffic source, one payment method, one person whose approval controls every opportunity. Put a percentage beside it. If one employer supplies all your income, write 100. If one customer supplies 70% of revenue, write 70. If one platform supplies 80% of discovery, write 80. Numbers remove the comfort of vague language. Then complete 2 sentences. My most dangerous gate is. My second door will be. Complete independence is an illusion. Economic life requires cooperation. The objective is conscious cooperation instead of blind dependence. You do not need 10 alternative doors. You need to begin with 1. Understanding the 6 gates will not change your position by itself. The next 7 days determine whether this remains an idea or becomes the beginning of an exit. Do not rebuild your entire economic life. Produce evidence that another route can exist. On day 1, trace the money. Choose 1 unit of income and trace it backward. Who made the final payment? What caused action? Which institution, platform, relationship, or decision maker had to grant access? You are tracing permission. On day 2, measure the failure point. Identify the gate capable of interrupting the largest share of your income. Write the percentage, how quickly interruption would become dangerous, and what alternative exists today. Do not dramatize it. Do not minimize it. Measure it. On day 3, move closer to demand. Speak with one person who pays for, uses, or benefits from your work. Learn what problem caused action, what had failed, what created hesitation, and which result mattered most. On day 4, create economic memory. Build one asset that allows the right person to remember or reach you again. A case study, portfolio page, direct contact method, useful article, referral process, or permission-based list. A title can disappear. A documented result can travel. On day 5, produce proof. Create something that can survive inspection, a sample, prototype, improved offer, repaired process, documented result, or finished section of a product. Do not announce the intention. Produce evidence. On day 6, open the first inch. Construct one visible piece of the alternative route. Contact a potential customer. Research another supplier. Open a second payment method. Document critical knowledge. Create another traffic source. Move money into reserve. The action may be small. The direction is not. On day 7, create the rule. Create one measurable rule that survives motivation. One customer conversation each week. One permanent piece of useful work. Protected time for a portable capability. A fixed reserve transfer, or a limit on how much one client or platform may control. A principle can inspire you. A rule changes behavior. 7 days will not complete the second door. They will prove construction has begun. The next 90 days determine whether the second door remains an idea or becomes a route capable of carrying real value. Choose one project, not 5, not 10, one. It must create direct customer access, build portable proof, establish a reserve, strengthen an independent channel, qualify another source of supply, or reduce dependence on one gatekeeper. Days 1 to 30, build something inspectable, a reserve, a sample, a case study, a documented process, a supplier relationship, a direct channel. Measure construction, not applause. Days 31 to 60, connect it to real demand. Show the proof, test the supplier, automate the reserve transfer, speak with the buyer. The producer describes effort and features. The buyer describes cost, risk, delay, and uncertainty. Translate the asset into the buyer's language. Days 61 to 90, make the passage repeatable. Document the process, improve reliability, create a referral mechanism, turn completed work into evidence that can travel ahead of you. The objective is not enormous scale. The objective is continuity. The project does not need to replace your current income. It needs to prove that another economic door can carry real value. Small evidence changes identity. You no longer merely hope another door exists. You have touched the handle. Return to the craftsman beside the river. For 20 years, he strengthened the product behind the gate. He improved the steel, worked longer, reduced waste, and accepted lower prices. But he never studied the bridge. When the fee increased, he answered a structural weakness with more personal effort. Many people are still inside that workshop. They publish more while one platform controls discovery. They accept more responsibility while one employer controls income. They lower prices while one customer controls revenue. Then a policy changes. A customer leaves. A supplier fails. An algorithm stops delivering attention. And years of effort discover that the gate was never theirs. The lesson is not to seize the bridge and become another unnecessary toll collector. A bridge with nothing valuable on either side is useless. A gate without trust becomes a barrier people try to escape. The craftsman did not need to own every road. He needed to stop depending on one, a second market, a direct relationship with buyers, portable proof, a reserve that allowed him to wait, a reputation strong enough to travel beyond the original road. He needed a second door. Do not stop creating value. Value is what makes the gate legitimate. But stop believing value alone controls where money goes. Study the road, protect the relationship, build trust, keep movement alive, preserve enough capital to wait, reduce the permissions between your work and the people who need it. You do not need to own every gate. You need enough evidence, trust, margin, and alternatives that one gatekeeper cannot erase your economic identity, because the second door changes the first relationship before you ever open it. A person who can leave does not need to threaten departure. A business with several channels does not panic when one weakens. A creator with direct access does not obey every trend. Alternatives enter the negotiation before they are spoken. One day, pressure may arrive as a lower price, a destructive contract, or an urgent demand designed to prevent careful thought. You will feel it, but this time, pressure will discover something standing behind you. A reserve, a skill, a reputation, a direct customer relationship, a body of proof, another road. You will not need to perform confidence. You will examine the terms and decide. The person across the table will no longer be negotiating only with your fear. They will be negotiating with your ability to wait, with your evidence, with your reputation, with the door you built while the first remained open. They will be negotiating with your alternatives. That is how economic sovereignty begins, not with domination, not with permission from the gatekeeper, with one reserve, one direct relationship, one portable capability, one piece of evidence, one passage of your own. Now look at the 6 gates again. Customers, attention, infrastructure, information, trust, capital. Which one controls the greatest part of your income? What second door will you begin building before that gate closes? Write the gate, then write the door, and begin before urgency chooses for you. Because money may visit the person who works, but over time, money remains with those who understand, protect, and improve the road through which value moves. Money follows controlled access. Build the second door.